The first scripture reading today is from Genesis 37, verses 3 and 4, chapters 18, verses 23, 24, and 28. Please listen to the word of the Lord. Now Israel loved Joseph more than any of his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he had made him a long robe with sleeves. But when his brothers saw that their father loved him more than all his other brothers, they hated him and could not speak peacefully to him. They saw him from a distance, and before he came near to them, they conspired to kill him. So when Joseph came to his brothers, they stripped him of his robe, the long robe with sleeves that he wore, and they took him and threw him into a pit. The pit was empty, and there was no water in it. And when the Midianite merchants came by, his brothers pulled Joseph up from the cistern and sold him for 20 shekels of silver to the Ishmaelites and took him to Egypt.
Our story carries on with Joseph going to Egypt, and then, as we know, he's enslaved in a home, but is responsible and is given a lot of responsibility in the household, but is put in prison unfairly, only to be summoned by Pharaoh, who had these dreams that he couldn't interpret, and Joseph does. And after he does, Pharaoh puts him in charge of the entire kingdom, of all of Egypt. His brothers finally, because of starvation that is coming to the land, come south to Egypt to get food, and they come into his presence. And after a number of encounters, we come to chapter 45, where Joseph, for the first time, reveals to them who he is. Then Joseph could no longer control himself before all those who stood by him, and he cried out, "Send everyone away from me." So no one stayed with him when Joseph made himself known to his brothers. And he wept so loudly that the Egyptians heard it, and the household of Pharaoh heard it. Joseph said to his brothers, "I am Joseph. Is my father still alive?" But his brothers could not answer him, so dismayed were they at his presence. Then Joseph said to his brothers, "Come closer to me." And they came closer. He said, "I am your brother, Joseph, whom you sold into Egypt. And now do not be distressed or angry with yourselves because you sold me here, for God sent me before you to preserve life. For the famine has been in the land these 2 years, and there are 5 more years in which there will be neither plowing nor harvest. God sent me before you to preserve for you a remnant on earth, and to keep alive for you many survivors. So it was not you who sent me here, but God. He has made me a father to Pharaoh and lord of all his house and ruler over all the land of Egypt." Then he fell upon his brother Benjamin's neck and wept, while Benjamin wept upon his neck. And he kissed all his brothers and wept upon them, and after that his brothers talked with him. This has been the word of the Lord.